Deviance in Sport. It's a blank piece of paper in front of you while you're listening to this podcast about deviance in sport. Do make notes, pause, stop, rewind. We'll go from there. Okay, often the highest of motives or claims for sport, whether played at grassroots level or international level. When those who make such claims point to ethical and social values inherent in sport, they may be looking back to the roots of rational sport in the English public schools of the 19th century. In the modern era, the Olympic Games still thrives to represent or present itself in the highest moral light, the Olympic oath being an example of this desire. In the name of all competitors, I promise that we shall take part in these Olympic Games, respecting and abiding by the rules which govern them, committing ourselves to a sport without doping and without drugs in the true spirit of sportsmanship, for the glory, for the sport, and the honour of our teams. Officials also swear an oath. In the name of all judges and officials, I promise that we shall officiate in these Olympic Games with complete impartiality, respecting and abiding by the rules which govern them in the true spirit of sportsmanship. When studying definitions of sport at AS level, we noted that sport helps us learn the norms of society, that it gives us something to strive for, an opportunity for better international relationships and improved morale. When studying the history of sport, we looked at the development of athleticism in the 19th century public schools and how Victorians valued sport for opportunities that it gave to develop leadership, courage and sportsmanship. When looking at the Olympic Games in the 20th century, Baron de Coubertin valued the participation beyond the result when he said the most important thing is not to win but to take part, just as the most important thing in life is not the triumph but the struggle. Wimbledon finalists on the way to centre court still pass Ronald Kipling's words, if you can meet with triumph and disasters and treat those two impostors just the same. Our language is littered with sporting metaphors, giving us guidance in how to conduct our lives, e.g. batting on a sticky wicket, being on the ropes, the final hurdle. Our culture puts sport on a pedestal. Our sporting heroes are interventional role models. Sport stars become gladiatorial representatives, and billions watch the Olympic closing ceremony, looking forward to the next time the youth of the world are gathered together. London Olympics 2012 this year. Unfortunately, human nature being what it is, there are times when the actions of sporting elite disappoint us. Nobody who has the slightest interest in sport can have failed to notice the international sport and elite performers have frequently fallen short of the lofty ideas described above. Examples are plentiful. The use of performance-enhancing drugs, underhand transfer payments, betting scandals, cricketers throwing matches, hooliganism at football matches, corruption during the Olympic bidding process, players arrested, on-field violence, the bribing of match officials, the deliberate cheating within a match or contest. In this podcast, we will look at the nature of deviance in sport, examine the causes of such behaviour, and see how the authorities are trying to deal with the deviant behaviour. Finally, we shall ask ourselves, if sport has lost its value for society, lost its moral justification, and in its ability to act as a guiding force in the development of young people. Deviance in sport. The term deviant or deviance refers to any social behaviour that is different or departs from what is regarded as normal or acceptable within society. Behaviour is often governed by what are considered to be reasonable actions within society at large and what is acceptable within a sporting context. Is it possible to find examples of behaviour in a sport that would not be acceptable in wider society? Is it clear that punching somebody in a boxing ring within the laws of the sport would not be considered deviant behaviour, but to do it in the street, unless in self-defence, would it be deviant behaviour? Any behaviour that is our day-to-day life breaks the law of the land and is clearly deviant, as in a sporting context. Any action that breaks the laws of a sport However, we are not just concerned within the behaviour of players. Deviance can be exhibited by spectators, managers, coaches and officials. Types of deviance. Most of the time, deviant behaviour is given a negative, breaking the social norms or rules, doing harm, known to be wrong. Some deviant behaviour can be viewed as a more positive light. However, we need to differentiate between positive deviance and negative deviance. There are 3 types of behaviour. J. Coakley, 1992. Positive deviance, over-conforming to what is expected, normal behaviour, and negative deviance, under-conforming to what is expected. Normal distribution for these behaviours, with the most behaviour being within the normal category. So key terms recapping of deviance, positive deviance and negative deviance.